Hold on. There we go.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Hey guys, Xewleer, the Mercenary King, here with a Yasuie deck profile. This is the continuous upgrade of one of my favorite decks of all time, the Bandit Ape Yasuie build, which utilizes all the on hits that Bandit Ape gives you for the sheer draw, with the new Yasuie stuff for much advantage. Very good. It's the dog, I think. The meme. The dream. Meh. Auto Forerunner. This is Stealth Rogue Onifundo. Auto Rearguard GB1. Soul Blast 1. Return this unit to the hand. Beginning of main phase. Pay the cost if you do. Look at 3 cards from the top of the deck. Search for 1. Call it to Rearguard. Shuffle deck. End of turn. Put that unit called back into the bottom of the deck. Simply put, this helps me get a little bit more advantage in exchange for the hand. And with how these things go, like this guy and whatnot, you can get a lot more card advantage than it is. It also gives you options to start searching out. Honestly, I only use it once. I can't use it too often because it will interfere with Shirabaku Buster. In fact, it does just by existing, but hopefully I usually get something I can send to the Soul or Soul Charge with before I get there. But, this is just a really good card to start my advantage engines. I think that this is probably the better of the 2 starters, even though the other one, I see why people like the other one. I just feel that ultimately this one's out. The soul problems notwithstanding. I run 4 of the Yasuie crit triggers. There's no excuse to run a trigger with an ability for every card in this deck, in Murakumo deck anymore. I run 4 Hidden Scroll. Because I focus on summoning out a bunch of stuff rather than killing people with crits, so it's like a bunch of little attacks all the time, I run 8 Sand. Hidden Scroll. When you place them on Rearguard, choose a unit and search for 2 copies of it, place them. They don't get any other abilities, and they go back at the bottom of the deck. And basically, it's one of those things that I use in conjunction with Kagamajishi, who gives out power for every copy that's summoned out. So, instead of being just like 10k Bandit Apes, it's 12k Bandit Apes, and they can attack from the back row. That's the advantage of this card. It's probably one of the best stand triggers in the game. Sure, you send them back to deck, but at the same time, you send them back to deck, and if Bandit Apes don't hit, they don't go back. So, it's just one of those things. It's like, he's just such a good card. I also run 4 Drenched Serpents. Moist. Shadow Stitch, Auto Rearguard. G-Break 1. Put this unit in the bottom of the deck. At the end of battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard. This unit boosted. If that attack did not hit, pay the cost. Countercharge 1. Soul Charge 1. And choose one of the units and it gets plus 4k. Honestly, I just use this for the Soul Charge and the Unflip. This deck doesn't really use too many Unflips, but it does use a lot of Soul, so I do have to be careful about it. I don't really care for this card. I think I'll change it out to something, but it's just one of those things. It's like there's a lot of different options in this deck, and I'm sure that you'll find something in here. 4 heals. I run 1 Obero card. Counterblast 1 with this unit's placed on Rearguard. Choose another unit. Search a copy. Goes to the bottom of the deck afterwards. And I'm just summarizing the ability. I use this just to fill in a gap. A lot of people want these cards, and I've seen some people run 2 or 3 of them, and I don't think that's right. Just run 1, and then have 4 of every other grade 1. There's no reason to fill your deck up with Obero cards, because he's a counterblast for some temporary advantage that you can get with Hidden Scroll or multiple other abilities. I do run 4 of the Stride Enablers, because I need Yasui's, not Bandit Apes. I run 4 Onabayashis. Onabayashi came out in the Fighters Collection. Genius Strategy. and I do like him quite a bit. Shadow Stitch, Auto Rearguard. G-Break 1, end of battle this unit that your unit attacked a Vanguard. If it did not hit until end of turn, this unit gets. Put this unit into the soul. When your unit attack hits a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Shadow Stitch or Yasuie, pay the cost. If you do, draw a card and soul charge 1. So, I'm sorry, counter charge 1. So, it goes in the soul, you draw a card, you counter charge 1. You've already summoned like 2 different copies using Yasuie or Hidden Scroll or, well, anyone else really. So there's no real cost to his ability, and you Soul Blast him out when you run Shirabaku Buster, Yashibayashi, or... Really, it's those 2. Yeah, it's just those 2. But you get them back sometimes. Even if you don't, what do you care? Usually you win or lose before then. So I have decked out. Shizune is my perfect shield. I do run 4. Her ability is Auto Rearguard, G-Break 1, Soul Blast 1. When the attack of your unit with the Shadow Stitch ability hits a Vanguard, pay the cost. If you do, return this card to hand. I honestly don't use her too often, but when I do copy her, I'm always grateful for that ability, because you can run it multiple times. I don't use it very often, though, because I do consider, with all the card advantage this deck gives me, a matter of time to get her. So let's just talk about Grade 2s. Like, I'll show you some combos I can do with this, but the thing is that this is all based on a very simple concept. Copy things and use their abilities for basically free advantage. Like, there's no real, like, special hints or anything like that. You know, this is how it works. If it doesn't work, I still get abilities off. Thanks to the new guys. Stealth Dragon Yashibayashi, I do run 4. G-Break 1. Soul Blast 1. When this unit is placed on Rearguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, until end of turn, this unit gets plus 2k and Shadow Stitch. Auto Rearguard, at the end of battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard. If the attack did not hit, counter charge 1. All this counter charge. Choose one of your units. And it gets plus 2k in end of turn. And if you have a grade 4 or greater Yasuie, this unit can attack from the grade 4 or greater Vanguard with Yasuie in the card name. This unit can attack from the back row. You don't use that ability too often, but you do use other abilities quite a bit. The fact that you can give out plus 2Ks can turn the tide for you and can help you out in certain ways. However, this isn't a card it's kind of unreliable, weirdly. Like, you wouldn't think this card is unreliable, but it kind of is. Because you place it, you Soul Blast 1, and it attacked a Vanguard, did not hit. Sometimes it just let it hit. But late in the game, he does help you quite a bit. It's just a little bit. 12k attacker when you're at G-Break 1. Dokube. Not much else to say about him. I just use him as a copy target to summon out for multiple attacks. Stealth Rogue of MB Ikkyu. Shadow Stitch. Auto Rearguard. G-Break 1. At the end of battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard, did not hit. Choose a unit, and it gets plus 2k, and it can attack from the back row. When this unit is placed on Rearguard, this unit gets plus 2k for every unit with Yasuie in its card name. Which can get pretty crazy if you've got, like, 3 Yasuie summoned out, thanks to this guy's skill. But, more on that later. That's my grade 2 lineup. I don't know what I'll change this guy into, but I'm going to figure it out. Like, whether or not I'll change it. Honestly, I probably won't change it. But still, it's just one of those things where I'm a little bit dissatisfied, and I'm just going to see what my options are for Yashibayashi. Because there's so many options to put in the front row, and even though I have a lot of cards that do let me attack from the back row, it still kind of gets a little clogged on my rearguard circles. But that's because that's what I designed this deck to do. It is supposed to get clogged, and I'm supposed to work around it. You know what I mean? I run 4 of the new Yasuie, Stealth Rogue of the Trial. Shadow Stitch, Auto, Vanguard, Rearguard. End of battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard. If it did not hit, choose a card from your hand, put it in the bottom. Draw a card, choose a card from your hand, bottom of the deck. Just the fact that you can, like, flip things out means that you can fix the summoning aspects of this deck, as well as, like, if you have a whole bunch of Bandit Apes in hand, send one to the bottom and draw a card. You know, if you're worried about decking out, you know, send it to the bottom. So you get an idea. Like, if it's late in the game and you have a very thin deck, you can actually bring it down to a certain amount and then basically draw, you know, bottom, until you have a relatively ideal situation for you. His second ability is Auto Vanguard. Counterblast 1 G unit strides during your turn. Pay the cost. If you do choose one of your units, search your deck for one card, same card name, call it to rearguard. End of turn. This called unit gets Shadow Stitch, Auto Rearguard. End of battle, but this unit attack to Vanguard, and if it did not hit, I can return it to hand. So, the biggest thing I use it for is Bandit Apes and Stride Fodders. Just because I like returning those things to hand. And you might say, well, you attack with Stride Fodders? Yeah! If I get a free Stride Fodder to hand, that pays for my strides. Especially if I summoned it out with Onifundo or something, you know, earlier on in the game. Well, no, that wouldn't work. I keep forgetting how Onifundo works. Shizune also does that. I can't really remember how I... Oh, wait. I do it to get Bandit Apes. Bandit Ape! I run 4! Stealth Beast Bandit Ape, Auto Rearguard, put this unit in the bottom of the deck. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if you have a Murakumo Vanguard, you may draw a card. So basically, on hit, put it at the bottom, draw a card. So in other words, it's just like everything else. But the thing about Murakumo that nobody realizes about this card is that this is basically free card advantage. You know, the amount of stuff that you pay for strides, like, okay, I'm going to talk about the combos in a bit, but like, I summon out one, I have one on play, and then I summon out one with Yasuie. So, just think about it. If it hits, I get card advantage. If it doesn't hit, I get free strides. Like, that is the benefit of this card. You can summon it out, you can give it power, you can use, you can have things like Onibayashi behind it, Shizune. You can run Drenched Serpent, Moist Serpent, there we go. You know, you can get a whole bunch with Hidden and with Kagamajishi, you know. The imagination is what limits you here, not what the actual cards are. You might say, but Ben, this is 10k, what if you ride it? Well, that's why I run 4 Stride Fodders. You know, sometimes I just don't ride to grade 3 and let my opponent waste 2 Counterblast to Sea Breeze. Because it is a waste of 2 Counterblasts and a card from their hand. Their card advantage does not change any over the long-term course of a Sea Breeze unless they have an advantage-heavy deck. And you might say, well, they gained 3 cards. Yeah, but they discarded 2. I'm sorry, they discarded 1, which means that it doesn't actually change the amount of cards gotten over a game. Anyway, I'll show you some combos with that a little bit. I do run 4 of the Yasuie Gomas. Yasuie Goma is act once per turn Vanguard. Choose a face down copy of itself, turn it face up. Choose 2 cards with Yasuie in the card name, call them the separate rear guards. Shadow Stitch Vanguard. At the end of the battle, and then they go back. Whatever happens to them. Attack to Vanguard. If it did not hit, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, put it at the bottom of the deck. Same thing as the bigger Yasuie, smaller Yasuie. The benefit of him is that he is a 15k attacker, and just so you know, that it doesn't say 15, it gets bigger until it hits like 17. No, but like there are ways to get it a little bit bigger, and because it's just a little bit bigger, it can do some real damage here. This is also the second reason why I run stands. Just running these, like, you know, having 3 of them out there and 1 in the back row. If you do it right with your EQs, you can actually, like, give this one, not with your EQs, yes, with EQ. No, with EQ. Oh, right. Nope, I remember now. With this guy, you know, this guy won't attack still, but at the same time, you can still attack with the back row, you know what I mean? Know what I mean? I don't know. I had something here. I'm tired. It's been a long day for Xewleer, the Mercenary King. He wants to go to his 4-posted storybook bed and sleep for 100 years until the beautiful kiss of a princess wakes him up because, you know, feminism and shit, you know, giving girls the rescue heroine roles, which doesn't bother me at all, really, but it's when they're bitchy about it. Yeah. Anyway, so I run 4 of these, and I attack a lot. Sometimes, for the sheer heck of it, I also have two... Well, where are they? Where are they, you little pretties? I also play two of these, and it doesn't do anything, but it makes me feel happy just to fill the board with the Yasui's. And that's just between you and your god, sort of thing. I think my god would prefer I don't play these games, ultimately. Anyway, I'm just gonna pretend that's depressing. I depressed myself. I shouldn't have said that. Well, anyway, so I run two of these things. Yasuie Tenma. Act, Vanguard, once per turn, G-Break 2, copy of itself, turn face up. Until end of turn, this gets Shadow Stitch, Vanguard. At the end of battle, your unit attacked a Vanguard did not hit. You may pay the cost. If you do, choose your deck for one card, same card name is attacked. Call to Vanguard, shuffle your deck. I don't really use it too often. It's just not a card I use that often. Like, it's... As much as I like the idea of it, just counterblast one, summon another one, and because of how I run my grade 2 lineup, like, all of them get plus 2k, all of them can attack. It just doesn't really do it for me. It's a card that works well, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not creative to me. But that's fine. That is fine. I do run one on Bibu Raider. When it's used, place on Vanguard, choose one card from your hand, call it to rearguard, choose a rearguard. Until end of turn, that unit gets plus 2k, and this unit can attack from the back row. I basically use this unit to, like, kickstart a Yasuie thing. If I don't want to run Yasuie, this is the... if I don't want to just copy Yasuie himself, this is the card I run. He's pretty good. As a one-of. I run two Kagamajishis. When your unit is... I used to run the deck basically based around him, and he's weirdly hard to find, I swear. When your unit is placed on rearguard, if you have two or more units with the same card name as that unit, until end of turn, that unit gets plus 2k, and continuous, this unit can attack from the back row. So basically, you use it, you summon out more Bandit Apes or whatever your twisted heart desires, and you just keep attacking. And you summon out more, or you do various, bullshit tricks, or you use a hidden scroll or a Obro card, you just do it. Like, this is one of those decks that just, like, if you can do a combo, and it's not stupid, just do it. Like, it's just, you just do it. It's not about power or the draw or anything like that. It's just about making the plays all the time. All of these cards... except for the 12k attacker, who's in there just to fill out the power, does work. That's it. They do work. And when they do work, it does a lot of work. It's one of those things that just spirals out of control. All of a sudden, you've got two Bandit Apes and one in the back row, and they're swinging about it, and the opponent has to drop 5k or you draw a card. And even if you don't, they can, like, this one will return to hand at end of turn. That's what this deck is about. Let's finish up the stride zones real quick. I run two Home Row Raider. Home Row Raider is pretty simple. Counterblast 2. Choose a copy of itself face up. Sorry. Yep. If the G zone is 2 or more, this gets... If number of face of cards in G zone is 2 or more. In other words, if it's GB3, it gets minus a drive check and return 3 units with the same card name into the deck. And if you return 3, you may shuffle. If you did, restand this unit to attack again. So you get 4 drive checks overall for something pretty easy. Like, sure, I can use Hidden Scroll to do it, but honestly, the focus isn't on this. I have seen using Lake Diver combos where you just do it like half infinitely. But the thing is that just doesn't interest me. It's just not the combo I need to live on. This can be used as many times as you pay the cost, but this isn't what this deck is geared for, and I kind of I like the idea of the combo, of just like keep doing this until you run out of the ability to do it, but it just doesn't really do it for me. Like, I know how to do it. I'm just not impressed by it. I think that explains a lot to people. Now, Shirabaku Buster. Shirabaku Buster is one of these cards that will work in every single Murakumo deck, period. Always, always, always. It will work. Unless they have something like a Denial Griffin and kill it. But that's different. That is different. Act Vanguard once per turn. G-Break 2, Counterblast, Soul Blast 2, choose a card from a hand. Discard it, choose a card from your drop zone, return it to deck. Choose one of your units and search your deck for one copy. Call it to rearguard, shuffle deck. Until end of turn, this unit performs drive check during the first battle of the turn. And at the end of turn, put that unit in the bottom of the deck. So, what I like doing is placing a Bandit Ape with whatever. So I swing with Bandit Ape. They could let it hit. They could not let it hit. But if I'm doing this deck right, I'm going to get advantage out of it no matter what happens. So I don't care. If they let me swing and they don't block and they let me hit, not only do I get the 2 cards from the drive checks, because this does get twin drive, it gets whatever drive that this symbol has right here. Sorry, what was I thinking? Oh, yeah. Not only do I get the twin drives, I get to draw a card off of it and send it to the bottom of the deck, where it's safe. No, the bottom of the deck thing isn't a thing. Like, you can't really focus on the bottom of the deck thing. Like, if you try to stack the deck, well, you do it so much. What you want to do is you want to thin the deck. Thin it out. But you basically, I put them in a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If they guard it for the 10k that's required early game, especially if this is just middle game or late middle game, when they can still take damage, that is 10k out of their hand that they cannot spend on, I don't know, Yakubayashi, Dokubo, or EQ, or your other Bandit Apes, or your Yasui's. Like, that's how it works. And not only that, you get 5 drive checks overall through this card, and because you get the 5 drive checks, it's pretty sweet. It is pretty sweet. Alright, let's talk about the G-Guards real quick, and then I'll do some combos. I run 2 of these guys. Hogan Wing. When this is placed on Guardian Circle, choose one of your grade 1 or greater rear guards, search your deck for one card name, same as that unit, call it to G, and then it gets put in the bottom of the deck. After it's all done. So, yeah, this is just a G-Guard. Here's the thing. There still isn't enough G-Guards to really change up your style. This is still worthwhile to play. They don't really have a better one. Now, this one's a little different. When this unit is placed on G during the battle, your Vanguard was attacked by the opponent's Vanguard, so it's only during your Vanguard to Vanguard attack. Choose one of your rear guards and move it to G. It gets 5k. And then search for one card, same card name, call it to G, shuffle deck. It doesn't go away, it goes to the drop zone. So, if you, for some reason want to use your Bandit Apes to guard, I guess you could. But you could really use E-Kubos, Dokubos, anything. This is kid stuff. You should know what these do. They've been around a while. I know I've done 3 deck profiles on this same damn deck. Gotta relax with it. Now some combos. So the best combo, I think, that I like best anyway, is actually, I'll show you the first one. Let's say I stride first. Boop. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. Anyway, so I use his skill, and I happen to have a Bandit Ape in the back row. I copy Bandit Ape and summon a Bandit Ape out here. Actually, I'm going to summon it right here. Plus 2k, and it can attack from the back row. Then I use his Yasui's... no, I just use Yasui's skill. Then I use Hidden Scroll skill to summon out 2 more Bandit Apes. Boop, boop. They all get plus 2k and can attack from the back row. Lastly, I might as well just throw in a... I'm not sure. I'm actually going to move him up. And then I'm going to toss in one of these. You see how this is working, right? Not only this, you have this, but so let's read them real quick. If it did not hit, until in a battle, put this unit into the soul. Blah, 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 blah. Now, this is still a 10k. But what you hope for is a trigger. Actually, no. If I was doing an ideal, this will be the 10k, so I have a boost. I swing with this one. Now, the opponent might let it hit. If they're smart, they'll actually let it hit because you're basically wasting your one card. But honestly, they won't because they're afraid to let you draw cards. Like, you can take a look here. I have the potential to draw 5 cards this turn. You know, that this is, and I'm using old cards, new cards, you know, super new cards. You know, this is an ideal situation for me. This is a very ideal situation for me. Just because I'm putting my opponent into a struggle that he won't be able to get out of. Also, instead of this guy, I can also run this, where I swing with this one for 16k. Sorry, for 14k. They block it. You know, then I put it in the bomb, soul charge 1 and all that jazz, give plus 4k to one of my 12k attackers. And now one of my 12k attackers is a 16k attacker in a deck that runs mostly stands. It's pretty good like that. It's just how it works. Like, Bandit Ape is the versatile unit in this deck. You want them on rear guards, you want them to hit, but you also want to fake out your opponent and force them to guard too much, or to just take care of it. Here's another way to do it. Onbibu Raider. Summon it out here with Onbibu Raider. Then use Yasui skill to summon this guy out. You know, it's how it works. Not much else to say about it. Away from the Bandit Apes, because I'm sure you really didn't come to see Bandit Apes. With Yasui, and with the new cards. Where are my... There they are. Like, this is sort of an ideal situation. Boop. And summon it out. With a lot of counterblasts. Just a lot. If you have a lot of counterblasts, this is a pretty good idea. So you summon out more of these same cards. You know what? Take a look at this. In the battle that this unit attack did not hit, counter charge. Put this unit... no. This doesn't go into the soul. But, you know, you choose something else to give it plus 2k. These already get plus 2k when they're, called. So it just keeps going. You know, there's no limits to the combos. Now, I don't really like this guy too much, as I mentioned before, but let's take this away. Let's say that for some reason you decide to summon out 2 of these. And by the way, you choose up to 2. So you don't need to choose 2. You actually can put them right here, summon out 2 EQs, and swing. Now, this is sort of a late game combo more than anything else, but it's still pretty impressive. Now, I was joking earlier about the... No, I wasn't. I genuinely didn't know it was up to 2. But I would like to put a full field of Yasui's out just to confuse my opponent sometime, if I thought they wouldn't call judge on me, like you guys probably are. Now, just so you guys know, you notice I'm not really using the grade 1s and whatnot too much. You really just have to figure out what they're good for. You know, it's like one of those things. The focus is on the grade 2s and grade 3s and the strides. The grade 1s are all functional, but they are not special, and they are not the focus. You gotta be careful about it. Don't be deceived. Yeah, that's sort of like the remainder of the deck. There's not much to say about Yasui himself. I do combo him out, and he's my guaranteed get for Shirabaku Buster, just because of how he works, because of how it gets. I do like to get Bandit Ape when I can get him, but honestly, Bandit Ape doesn't show up as often as you might want him to for this guy's ability, especially if your opponent is gunning for him, since he is an immense threat to any opponent's plans to diminish my ever-growing hand through bullshit. Bullshit ninjutsu. Man, do I just hate Naruto fans. Ugh. Die in a fire. Just do it. Anyway. Actually, I think the Naruto fandom's just... It's just, you know, the guy's not writing stuff. You know, Naruto isn't that good, you know. So, what we're going to do here is all kinds of nothing. I have finished my deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you gleaned some interesting ideas on how to do it. The thing about Bandit Ape, and I should say my builds in general, is that they're not about the crazy best thing in the meta. They're about taking an idea and functioning with it. Taking the idea and running with it. Taking the idea and extrapolating it into its logical extreme, which this deck does. This deck is a genuine Murakumo deck. It is not faking some other deck's abilities, like a next stage or some other bullshit, to gain advantage, It is itself. And it is an exemplar of the Murakumo style. Shinobi Riser. Anyway. One of them's just a car. Anyway. Alright, guys. Xewleer the Mercenary King, signing out.
Hey guys, Camille here! May 20th is coming up and people have been asking about the IYG stand-up series. So I brought a special guest to help me explain.
Hello, Camille.
Diesel, why are you talking like that?
This is the promo, right?
Tell them about the tournament.
The IYG stand-up series starts at 10 a.m. with a time to register for the tournament.
Beat the line by registering online. Singles will be at the event as well as other cool merchandise.
Each round will be best 2 games of 3 in Swiss format.
That means you're not out if you lose.
At the end of the day, there will be a cut to top 8, where best 2 of 3 continues in single elimination format.
At least half a case of Vanguard will be given across the top 8, not to mention another special prize. Will you be playing Diesel?
Sorry, I fight for my friends.
Oh geez. Join us at Yeti Gaming May 20th.
And if you can make it, locals May 19th at 6:30 p.m.
Stand up! Vanguard!